Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Iraq has hanged 3 people convicted of involvement in a vehicle bombing in Baghdad that killed more than 300 people and injured hundreds in 2016. The bomb exploded as people were enjoying a night out during the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. It was the deadliest single bombing in Iraq since the US-led invasion in 2003. The Islamic State group has admitted carrying out the attack. IS has been defeated and lost control of territory but still remains active in the region. Former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has had his 3-year sentence for corruption suspended, but it is unclear if he will be freed from jail. The Islamabad High Court gave him bail until his appeal against unlawfully selling state gifts is heard. However, the court has also ordered the 70-year-old to be kept in custody until Wednesday in a separate case. Mr. Khan's lawyers say more than 100 charges have been brought against him since his removal from power last year. Spanish Football Federation regional leaders have called on President Luis Rubiales to immediately resign after he kissed the player Jenny Hermoso. Rubiales has been widely criticised after the incident following Spain's Women's World Cup final win. Hermoso said the kiss on her lips was not consensual. Earlier, Spanish prosecutors opened a preliminary investigation into whether the incident amounts to a crime of sexual assault. It comes after Rubiales' mother, Angeles Bejar, locked herself in a Spanish church and went on hunger strike in protest of the treatment of her son. Tropical storm Idalia has strengthened into a hurricane as it barrels towards Florida, with officials warning of potential destruction and risk to life. Forecasters say it will intensify into an extremely dangerous major hurricane before slamming into the state's western shoreline on Wednesday. Much of Florida, including the heavily populated area around Tampa, will be affected by the severe weather. High winds, heavy rain and potentially deadly storm surges are all forecast.
We've seen this before with something like Hurricane Michael that continued to gather strength. So this is going to be a major impact, and Floridians should expect that this storm will be a major Cat 3+ hurricane.
Meanwhile, DeSantis was loudly booed at a vigil for victims of a racially motivated shooting. He was heckled in Jacksonville, where hundreds gathered to remember the victims of the attack. Mr. DeSantis has loosened gun laws in the state after targeting what he calls woke ideology. It comes days after 21-year-old Ryan Christopher Palmiter fired 11 rounds at 52-year-old Angela Carr, who was sitting in her vehicle, before entering the shop and shooting another 2 people dead. In a world first, scientists say an 8-centimetre or 3-inch worm has been found alive inside the brain of an Australian woman. The string-like structure was pulled from the patient's damaged frontal lobe during surgery in Canberra last year. The 64-year-old had for months suffered symptoms like stomach pain, a cough and night sweats, which evolved into forgetfulness and depression. She was admitted to hospital in late January 2021, and a scan later revealed an atypical lesion within the right frontal lobe of the brain. The UK's Transport Secretary has warned the air travel disruption that hit the UK on Monday is set to last for several more days. The technical issue with air traffic services was fixed within hours, but many aircraft and crew are now out of place. More than a quarter of planned flights in and out of the UK were cancelled on Monday. And the rap star Eminem has asked aspiring Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy to stop using his songs. The letter comes more than a week after the biotech entrepreneur delivered an impromptu performance of Lose Yourself at the Iowa State Fair. Eminem made the request via performing rights organisation BMI in a letter dated the 23rd of August. Mr. Ramaswamy is vying to unseat Donald Trump as the presumed 2024 Republican nominee. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel studios in Lagos.